Maurice Nicoll, Psychological Commentaries, Volume 3, based on Nicoll's work with Gurdjieff, Ouspensky, and Young, Great Amwell House, February 28, 1948. Commentary on Imaginary I and False Personality. This is a work idea, part 2, or the second video of 2. Now, you can only collect conscious force from those not wanting it by self-remembering. If you are asleep, that is identified with with everything taking place outside of yourself in the visible world and everything taking place inside of yourself in your invisible world, then every thought, movement, emotion, sensation, then you are asleep and so not remembering yourself. You're in the so-called waking state, the second state, which Western psychology takes as full waking consciousness, a tragic mistake. Being asleep, you will feed the big pain factory of the huge machine of organic life. But recall that there is a side ladder shown in the ray of creation up to that level, indicated by externally by the actual sun, which corresponds with the higher centers in man's 3-story house. By remembering yourself, you cut yourself off for the moment from the drain of force that is being taken from you every moment by identifying. If, said Gurdjieff, man were properly conscious, he would not serve nature. He was created to awaken, to develop. But he is gradually losing all the senses of all sense of himself, losing indeed everything of value for himself. Now, if you are in imaginary I and false personality, you will be used to the full by the forces acting on this earth in relation to producing strength, or in relation to producing enough pain to satisfy the demands of our position in the ray of creation. As you know, or should know, organic life, this vast sensitive film covering the surface of the earth, is a transmitter of force to the satellite below the earth in scale to the moon. Everything, remember, is growing. We do not live in a dying universe, but a growing one. Our little branch on the enormous tree is very unimportant in the totality of things, but everything has been worked out in detail for it. We have been told for ages how to come under influences and no longer serve nature, yes, but it is necessary to work on oneself in order to do this. It cannot be done for you by legislation. If we could always self-remember, we would not serve the pain factory of nature. Man, said Gurdjieff, was born in a state of self-remembering. Being born amongst sleeping people, he fell asleep. This work is to wake us up. Now, how do you yourself serve this pain factory? By actual pain. Yes, of course. By any other kind of pain? Yes, by as much subtler pain than animals can offer. Take all the psychological pain that arises from imaginary I and false personality, by envies, jealousies, and hatreds, all the unhappiness of not being properly recognized or not receiving what you think you're owed, by depression at not being the success that you think you should be, and 1,001 other forms of subtle psychological pain. The Gospels speak of a peace passing all understanding. Have you got this inner peace? How can we have it if our center of gravity lies in imagination? If imaginary I and false personality, which are both composed of imagination, someone compliments you, your dress looks nice, and you did so and so very well, you gave an excellent impression, and so on. This satisfies imaginary I at any rate. It gives you a sense of peace. You love everyone. Yet I fancy this is not the peace passing all understanding. It merely satisfies your personality, your imaginary I, your picture of yourself. Wait another moment. Another person comes along and says your dress is the wrong color and obviously dates. You weren't looking your best and you didn't look it. And you did not give a very good impression. And lo, where is this peace that comes merely from false personality, from satisfied vanity? Can vanity ever be satisfied? Yes, a clever trick is vanity in regard to the pain factory, is it not? Your satisfaction has vanished. Now you're full of negative feelings. You hate everyone. That is, you're now a very satisfied worker in the pain factory, a star worker, and draining away a good amount of force per second, which is used for other purposes than your own health or well-being. And yet, no doubt you you're still thinking that if you had another house, another husband, another wife, a different car, you would really be happy. Now, what is the cure that work suggests in regard to imaginary eye? The work says an imaginary eye must go. The work suggests that if you begin to use the first inner sense that can be developed, called the power of self-observation or observing eye, you will find that you have many different eyes, all contradictory, and that you have no real eye. And so this imaginary eye is not you at all. This is the first real step in the work, to break up the imagination that you have one real eye. This illusion the work calls imaginary eye. To do this may take years, and I notice some cases after many years, indeed this illusion still holds its sway, with the result that nothing in being can change very much. Now, you cannot begin to work, in my view, on false personality until you begin to weaken the strength of that form of imagination called imaginary eye. How dare you, sir, speak to me like that? Do you not know, sir, who I am? I am Dr. Nicole. Once you can bear to broaden your consciousness to that extent whereby you lose this self-import, I often, so modest, and see with inner sight and that this pseudo-master you have followed hitherto is a form of imagination and is non-existent, and you can take everything in quite a new and different and easier way by shifting your feeling of I, and need not continue to be in the unparalleled idiot you have been that has been the cause of your unhappiness, whether man or woman. Then you can begin to see your false personality in the mind of which lives imaginary I as in a great fortress. This is a good thing to do. So start by what the work teaches you to start with. Observe how you are, not the one, but many. See from yourself, fact by fact, by self-observation, that you are not one, I, but many. Notice how many is speaking to to maybe your darling on the telephone so sweetly. If you cannot hear how soon another I begins to speak to her, notice how you are not the one, or not one and the same at all times. Notice, in short, that imaginary eyes is imagination. Get rid of the psychological illusion, and then you will begin to see false personality. This is the first step in awakening from the state of sleep that governs the world.